Imagine signing up for a job where you're paid to endure mind-bending, body-breaking experiments that push you to the edge of sanity. That's what my girlfriend, Mia, and I did for thrills and cash. But during her last session, something went so horribly wrong that it shattered her, leaving a stranger in her place. Now her voice haunts my mind, whispering things she never said. Welcome to The Haunted Voice, where we uncover the darkest corners of reality. This is my story, and it's going to burrow into your nightmares. Buckle up, because after this, you'll never trust a help wanted ad again. My name's Lucas Hart, and I've always been hooked on weird gigs. Growing up in a sleepy Georgia town, I discovered online classifieds as a teenager, shady corners of the internet offering cash for jobs no one else would touch. No paperwork, no questions, just money and strange experiences. I've done it all, delivering unmarked packages to abandoned lots at midnight, posing as a grieving son at a stranger's funeral, even guarding a decaying mansion rumored to be haunted. The weirder, the better. It wasn't about the money. It was the rush of stepping into the unknown. That's how I met Mia, and it's a story we thought we'd tell at our wedding, laughing over drinks with friends. We were wrong. It was a muggy July afternoon in 2023 when we crossed paths at a kid's 13th birthday party in a dusty Atlanta suburb. We'd both answered a cryptic ad promising $500 for a dramatic performance. No details, just a time and place. When we arrived at a tacky community center decked out with balloons and streamers, a guy named Rajira King of cheap whiskey and fried onions pulled us aside. His plan was bizarre. We were to play a couple from down the street, staging a screaming match in the middle of the party to spice things up. Why? He mumbled something about family drama and making it memorable, but his shifty eyes told me there was more to it. I'm no actor, and the idea of yelling in front of a crowd of kids and their parents made my stomach churn. But Mia, she was all in, her eyes gleaming with that reckless spark I'd come to love. We went for it. Halfway through the cake cutting, Mia launched into a tirade about my fake promises, her voice carrying over the pop music. I stumbled through my lines, but she was a force, slamming her fist on the table, tossing a plastic cup at me for effect. The kids gaped, parents whispered, and Reggie's cousins, his makeshift security, hauled us out. By the end, I had a bruised cheek from a kid's stray action figure, and my shirt was soaked in grape soda. Mia and I collapsed on the curb, laughing until we couldn't breathe. She pressed a bag of frozen tater tots from the kitchen to my face, grinning. "You're terrible at this," she teased. We swapped stories, her dressing as a pirate for a shady corporate retreat, me pretending to be a cult member for a team-building event. Mia didn't care about the cash. She craved the chaos, the stories, the adrenaline. Sitting there, her hair glowing in the streetlight, I fell for her hard like a freight train to the chest. 4 months later, we rented a tiny apartment in downtown Atlanta, building a life that felt like a dream. Mornings were MIA brewing coffee, her lips brushing my forehead as I shuffled into the kitchen. Evenings were her burning dinner while I laughed, or us sprawled on our thrift store couch, binge-watching reality shows about doomed relationships. We talked about the future: a house with a porch swing, a scruffy dog, maybe 2 kids. Our friends loved us together. My mom, obsessed with grandkids, kept slipping baby names into conversations, much to Mia's amusement, but no one knew our secret. We kept chasing these bizarre jobs, our private thrill-seeking addiction. It was our world, a rush that bonded us tighter than any ring could. One chilly November evening, while Mia was at her barista job, my phone buzzed with nitrogen monoxide caller ID. I'm used to sketchy calls from my gigs, so I answered without hesitation. An automated voice, cold and robotic, demanded my name and birthdate. Lucas Hart, June 22, 1997, I said, tossing a sponge onto the counter after scrubbing the stove. A beep, then a smooth, almost too friendly male voice. "Mr. Hart, I hear you're open to unique opportunities." My pulse quickened, not with fear, but curiosity. When Mia got home, she flopped onto the couch, her face flushed. "Got a weird voicemail today," she said, her eyes glinting. "Same," I replied, and we knew we were in for something big. The next night, a black SUV pulled up outside our apartment, its tinted windows reflecting the streetlights. The driver, a stone-faced man in a dark suit, said nothing, answering our questions with grunts. Mia and I held hands in the back seat, our nervous laughter filling the silence as we wound through foggy back roads to a derelict factory on the edge of town. Rust streaked its walls, and broken windows stared like empty eyes. A tall man in a pristine suit greeted us, his dark hair slicked back, his smile sharp as a blade. "Mr. Hart and Miss Rivera, I presume," he said, his voice smooth as velvet. Mia blushes, never shy, but this guy's presence was unnerving. "Not married," I corrected, my voice tighter than I meant. "Miss Rivera," he said, shaking her hand with a grip that lingered. "I'm Victor Drake, but call me Drake. Ready to see what we're about?" Inside, the factory was a different world. Sterile white hallways, buzzing fluorescent lights, and people in lab coats scurrying with clipboards and steaming coffee cups. It wasn't a hospital, but it felt clinical, like a lab from a sci-fi horror flick. Drake led us to a sparse room with a metal table and 4 chairs, the air heavy with antiseptic. A woman in a lab coat dropped off a thick stack of papers and vanished without a word. "Welcome to the Office of Specialized Trials, Host," Drake said, settling into a chair. "We study human limits: pain, fear, endurance. How much can the body and mind take?" Mia's hand tightened in mine, her brow furrowing. "Like torture?" she asked, half joking. Drake's smile didn't waver. "Controlled stress testing. We need volunteers. And you two lovers of odd jobs are perfect. The pay, transformative. Think dream wedding, a house, a future without debt." He leaned in, grabbing our hands, his eyes gleaming. "You're thrill seekers, aren't you? This is the ultimate adventure." He left us to talk, and the door's lock clicked. Maybe my nerves, but it felt real. Mia flipped through the papers, muttering, "This place is unhinged." Words like non-disclosure, agreement, experimental liability, and post-procedure care glared at us. "It's a fortune," I said, my voice barely steady. Mia rubbed her temples, her nervous tick, but her eyes sparkled with that reckless thrill she lived for. "What's the worst that could happen?" she whispered, a mischievous grin spreading. I tucked her hair behind her ear, my heart pounding. We were diving into something dangerous, but with Mia, danger felt like home. Drake returned, his grin wider. "Ready for the tour?" He led us to another room, identical but lined with cameras and chairs fitted with wrist and ankle restraints. A lab-coated man wheeled in a cart loaded with syringes, vials, and strange metal devices that hummed faintly. "Everything's voluntary," Drake said, "no permanent damage, and we have medics on site. You can walk away anytime." The man strapped our wrists, leaving our legs free, and held up a syringe filled with a shimmering, silver liquid. "This is a trial compound," Drake explained. "Simulates intense sensations, pain, pressure, heat. Tested, safe, highly effective." My throat tightened, but Mia nodded, her thrill-seeking spark unpinned. The needle pierced her arm first, her body locked up, eyes bulging, mouth gaping in a silent scream. Then she convulsed, her limbs jerking like a marionette, a guttural wail tearing from her throat, animalistic, like something was ripping her soul apart. I shouted her name, my voice drowned by her cries, but the needle hit me next. My veins burned, like molten metal coursing through me, every nerve screaming in agony. My vision blurred, my heart pounded like it would burst, and for a moment, I thought I was dying. The pain vanished in minutes, though it felt like hours. Drake handed us a thick stack of cash, more than we'd ever seen, saying to think it over. Outside, under the gray sky, Mia laughed, her eyes wild. What a rush. I forced a smile, but her scream echoed in my head, a sound I couldn't shake. We stayed away for weeks, rattled by the intensity. The money was life-changing, but it felt tainted. Still, the pull was too strong. We started sneaking back separately, not wanting to drag each other into the guilt. I'd endure injections that set my blood on fire, electric shocks that left my muscles twitching, or hours in a freezing chamber that made my bones ache. I'd limp home, hiding bruises under long sleeves. Mia came home late, rubbing her temples like her head was splitting, her laughter quieter than before. One night, I caught her sneaking in at 3 a.m., wincing, her face pale. "Caught you," I said, sitting on the couch with a book. She collapsed beside me, chuckling weakly. "Busted." We agreed to go together from then on, no more hiding. Drake greeted us like long-lost friends, his smile too eager. "Got something special for you too," he said, leading us to the familiar room. The chairs were there, but a doctor held sleek, black headsets with metal nodes that glinted under the lights. "This is psychological," Drake said, his voice low. "A brief test, 30 seconds, max, worth enough to buy a car." My stomach churned. Physical pain was one thing, but messing with our minds. Mia squeezed my hand, her thrill-seeking spark blazing. "We'll do it together," she said, her grin defiant. I nodded, dread coiling in my gut like a snake. The headsets went on, cold nodes pressing into our temples. Mia stuck out her tongue, making me laugh despite the fear. Drake nodded to the doctor, who tapped the console, and Mia's scream shattered the room. It wasn't human, it was a sound from nightmares, raw, desperate, like a soul being dragged to hell. Her hand crushed mine, bones grinding under her grip. Her eyes were wide, empty, tears streaming as she stared through me, her body convulsing like she was possessed. "Mia," I screamed, yanking at her, but she was locked in place, her wail growing shriller, piercing my eardrums. I turned to Drake, who stood frozen, his charm replaced by shock. The doctor fumbled at his console, muttering frantically, "This is a creepypasta. Do not read this story if you do not wish to summon whatever entity may be dwelling within it. If you decide to continue reading, do not blame me for what happens next. Proceed at your own risk." The hum of machinery echoed around me, cold steel digging into my skin. Beside me, Mia moaned, her eyes squeezed shut, her breath shallow. "No," she whispered, her voice strained. "Stop, please." A prick of pain shot through my gut. Was this her doing? Whatever it was, it hurt. "Don't worry, darling," a smooth voice purred. "It's almost over, just a few more adjustments." and then you'll be ready to start your new life. New life. The phrase echoed in my skull. Ready for what? Ready for what? My mind screamed. Then the world exploded. White searing light, piercing screeches, and I blacked out. When I woke up, the room was silent, the equipment dormant, Mia gone. Panic seized me. Where was she? Where was I? What had happened? The questions swirled in my head. Suddenly, the door hissed open and a man stepped in, his face creased with concern. "Lucas, you're awake," he breathed, rushing to my side. "Oh, thank God. How are you feeling?" I struggled to speak, my throat dry. "Where's Mia? What happened?" He winced. "We lost her. I'm afraid. The procedure, it didn't go well." The words crashed over me, stealing my breath. "No," I whispered, my heart shattering. "No, that's not possible. She wouldn't leave me. She couldn't." The man's face softened with understanding. He knew how deep our bond was. "I understand, Lucas, but there was nothing we could do. You both pushed too hard. It was too much for her system." "System? What system? Too much for what?" He leaned closer, his voice dropping to a near whisper. "You see, Mia and I, we weren't meant to fall in love. Our connection amplified her abilities, but it destabilized her. She became a liability. We had to do what we had to do." He reached out, his touch gentle on my arm, but I flinched away. Who was this man? Who was I? My mind reeled, searching for answers. But as the memories flooded back, my blood ran cold. This man, the facility, Mia's strange behavior, it was all part of a sinister plan. "Wait," I croaked, my mind piecing it together. Was this all orchestrated? Was Mia taken, experimented on? What did you do to her? The man's eyes clouded with regret. "I'm sorry, Lucas, but you don't remember. You've been through so much. I'll tell you what happened to Mia. But please, try to calm down." "Calm down? How could I calm down?" "Calm down," he mimicked, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "How can you ask me to calm down? You son of a..." My outburst was cut short as a searing pain ripped through my head, knocking me to my knees. The man rushed to my side, his expression filled with alarm. "Oh God, Lucas, I didn't mean for that to happen. It's just a memory overload. You can't handle all of it at once. Not yet." He helped me to my feet, his eyes pleading for understanding. "You need to rest. Just relax and let the memories come back slowly." Slowly? Why did it have to be slow? Why couldn't I just know everything at once? As he led me to a couch, his hand on my shoulder, I glanced at the door, my mind screaming at me to run, to hide, to never look back. And then I saw it, a single word scrawled on the glass. A warning, a threat. It read, "Don't trust him." My blood froze. Who was he talking about? Was it the man beside me? Had I really loved Mia, or was I just another pawn in a twisted game? The memories came in fragmented flashes, distorted and incomplete. There was the day I met Mia, the cafe, the park, our first kiss under the old oak tree, and then the experiments, the pain, the fear. Each fragment was like a shard of glass piercing my soul. I cried out, collapsing onto the couch. "Make it stop," I begged, my voice hoarse. "Please, make it stop." But the visions kept coming, relentless, inescapable. The man knelt beside me, his face etched with concern. "It's okay," he murmured, his voice a soothing balm on my frayed nerves. "It's okay, I'm here, you're safe now." Safe? Was I safe? I looked at the man, my eyes searching his, trying to find the truth in his depths. But all I saw was sorrow, regret, and a flicker of something else. Something akin to fear. If you enjoyed this story, then you will absolutely love the others we have in store for you. So stay tuned for more terrifying tales. And if you dare to share this with a friend, maybe you'll haunt them for a while, too.